The Veltrax pleasure district of Zorati Prime glittered with bioluminescent advertisements, each one promising exotic experiences to the thousands of alien tourists who flooded through its streets daily. Among the establishments lining the crimson-lit corridors, the Gilded Chains stood as one of the most popular attractions, a place where rare species were displayed, touched, and admired by those with enough credits to afford such luxuries. Penelope had been there for 3 cycles. She knelt on the raised platform in her designated corner, her wrists bound by energy shackles that hummed with a soft violet glow. The collar round her neck bore her designation, Exotic Specimen 7 Alpha, Origin, Earth. Species, human, status docile. Her auburn hair fell in matted strands around her face, and her eyes, once bright with curiosity and adventure, had dulled to a hollow stare. The Veltrax had purchased her from pirates who'd raided a human exploration vessel near the outer rim. She'd been cataloged, processed, and put on display like all the others. Tourists would come, pay their fee, and run their appendages through her hair, marveling at the softness of human skin, the strange symmetry of her features. Some would take holos, others would simply stare. Penelope had learned not to fight back. The shackles would punish resistance with pain that made her nervous system scream. So she knelt, and she endured, and she waited for a rescue that would never come. David had heard the rumors about the Gilded Chains during his layover on Zorati Prime. As a merchant marine hauling freight across the Sagittarius Arm, he'd seen plenty of the galaxy's dark corners, but something about this particular establishment made his stomach turn. He'd spent the last 2 days gathering information, listening to whispered conversations in dingy cantinas, learning the layout of the pleasure district. He wasn't here for pleasure. He was here for reconnaissance. When he finally entered the Gilded Chains, the assault on his senses was immediate. Pulsing music, thick incense smoke, and the chatter of a dozen alien species filled the air. The Veltrax proprietor, a serpentine creature with iridescent scales, slithered forward with a practiced smile. "Welcome, human. First-time visitor? We have the finest collection in this sector. Perhaps you'd like to see our just browsing," David said curtly, pressing a credit chip into the creature's palm. The Veltrax's eyes gleamed at the generous amount and gestured him inside. David moved through the establishment with deliberate casualness, passing displays of various alien species, some chittering nervously, others resigned to their fate. His jaw clenched tighter with each step. Then he saw her. Penelope knelt on her platform, her head bowed, her breathing shallow. The sight of another human, a human in chains, ignited something primal in David's chest. Rage, horror, determination. He approached slowly, and when she finally looked up, their eyes met. For a moment, neither spoke. Penelope's expression flickered with confusion, then desperate hope, then immediate fear that he would walk away like all the others. "How much?" David asked the attendant hovering nearby. The insectoid creature clicked its mandibles. "The specimen is not for sale. Display only. You may touch for 50 credits per." "Everything has a price," David interrupted, pulling out his credit slate. "Name it." The attendant hesitated, then scuttled away to consult with management. David crouched down to Penelope's level, speaking in low, urgent English. "My name is David. I'm getting you out of here. When I make my move, you run for the east exit. There's a service corridor. Can you do that?" Penelope's eyes widened. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "The collar, the shackles, I'll handle them. Trust me." Before she could respond, the Veltrax proprietor slithered over, its expression calculating. "The human specimen. Very rare, very valuable. 100,000 credits." David didn't blink. "Done." The transaction happened quickly for the Veltrax to realize what was happening. As soon as the energy shackles deactivated and the collar's lock disengaged, David moved. He grabbed Penelope's hand and pulled her to her feet. "Run!" he shouted. Chaos erupted. Alarms shrieked. Security drones activated with mechanical whirs. But David had planned for this. He threw a small device onto the floor, a human-made EMP grenade he'd smuggled past security. The pulse wave rippled outward, frying circuits and plunging the establishment into darkness. Penelope stumbled as her atrophied muscles protested, but David caught her, half carrying her toward the exit. Behind them, The Veltrax shrieked commands, but the confusion bought them precious seconds. They burst into the service corridor, David's hand firmly gripping Penelope's. His ship wasn't far, docked in Bay 7 of the merchant sector. If they could just reach it before station security locked down the district. Stop. A mechanical voice echoed behind them. Security drones, their backup systems online. David spun, firing his plasma pistol at the pursuing machines. Sparks flew as one drone exploded. Two more took its place. Keep moving, he yelled at Penelope. She forced her legs to work, adrenaline overriding exhaustion. They rounded a corner, and she saw out a battered freight hauler with Terran registry stamped on its hull. Home, salvation. David slapped the access panel, and the boarding ramp descended. They scrambled inside as plasma fire scorched the hull behind them. David threw himself into the pilot's seat, his fingers flying over the controls. Strap in, he commanded. Penelope collapsed into the co-pilot's chair, fumbling with the harness. The engines roared to life. Station security was broadcasting lockdown warnings, but David had already initiated the emergency undocking sequence. The clamps released with a metallic clang. The ship lurched forward, breaking free from Zorati Prime's docking bay and shooting into the black void of space. Pursuit ships scrambled to follow, but David had already engaged the hyperdrive. The stars stretched into lines of light, and they jumped. Silence filled the cockpit. Only the gentle hum of the hyperdrive remained. Penelope sat frozen, trembling, tears streaming down her face. David slowly released his death grip on the controls and turned to her. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "You're going home." She looked at him, this stranger who'd risked everything, and the dam broke. Sobs racked her body as 3 cycles of horror and helplessness poured out. David moved to her side, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "Why?" she finally managed to ask. "Why did you save me?" David's expression hardened with conviction. "Because we're human. Because no one deserves what they did to you. Because if we don't stand up for each other out here, who will?" Penelope nodded, unable to form words. For the first time in months, she felt something she'd thought was lost forever: hope. As the ship hurtled through hyperspace toward Earth, David made a silent vow. This wouldn't be the last rescue. The galaxy needed to learn that humanity protected its own, and that humans, once provoked, were a force to be reckoned with. The rescue of Penelope was just the beginning.